Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I'm coming to you live from a different spot than I normally come live from. I am up here in Canada visiting my mom, and she's sick right now, and so I finally decided to come up. She's been sick for a little while, and she took a little turn for the worse. But I'm happy to report that actually today I feel like she's doing a little better. It's a little up and down. So I've flew out here and I haven't booked a return flight yet. So it makes it a little hard having a Stampin' Up! Business while doing this. But before I left, I was able to make 3 cards for the next 3 Casing Tuesday lives. And instead of demonstrating them, I'm going to share with you the card and show you how I made it. And at the end of my live, I will give you an update on my mom and everything and how all of that is doing. Good morning, Lori. I'm glad you're here. So let's talk a little bit about Casing Tuesday first. And I love Casing Tuesday because I was able to make 3 cards in one afternoon and have them ready to share with you for the next 3 weeks. So that was kind of cool because Casing Tuesday basically we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. So that is cool because you have a starting point. So let's have a look and I'll show you what this week's card was. Isn't that pretty? I love this card with the flowers on it. And so you can take this and make it your own. Choose your own color scheme, and then just use the layout as a blueprint. And that's how I was able to make my card so quickly. If you're new to copying and you're not really that great with the measurements, no worries. We've also got a sketch for you that shows you what the basic measurements would be. It looks like the original card was a note card size, but they made it, you can also expand it and make it a full-size card. And I'll share with you what my measurements were in just a moment. Before I go any further, I also wanted to mention today is the last day of Sale-a-Bration. So if you were thinking about getting that starter kit, today is the very last day to do that. And that starter kit, there's either 2 choices. You either do the $99 starter kit and you get $175 worth of product for that $99. So you're almost doubling what you would get if you were spending $99. Not quite, but pretty close. Or you get the $129 starter kit and then you still get the $175 worth of product, but you get the mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. And that's a really cool deal. So if you're on the fence, if you have any questions, make sure you get right on that because we just have today left. I'll just put up, here's my link. There is my link, my join page. So if you go on that page, there's lots of information on there. And there's also a link to my email address. If you have any questions, I'll try and check my email today. It's a busy day here. We have my mom's family practitioner is coming in today for an appointment. I have to go pick up some equipment at the Red Cross this morning. So it's a crazy day, but I will try my best to answer any questions if you have them about the starter kit today. And if you're just planning on ordering, that's also a great deal because Sale-a-Bration still rewards you when you're ordering. And that host code I have for this month, just 1 day left with that one. For every $50, not for every $50, if you spend $50 with me using this host code, you will get a package of gems, and those will probably be mailed out late since I'm not home right now, but I promise I am good for them. They will get mailed out at some point as soon as I get back. But also Sale-a-Bration is on, so Stampin' Up! Will reward you for every $50 or $100 you spend, and there's no limit from Stampin' Up! So you can spend $300 and you'll get rewarded for all of that $300, or you can spend $50 and just get a reward for $50 from Stampin' Up! So today is the last day. Don't forget, I wouldn't want you to miss out. All right, I'm going to share with you the card that I made. Remember the card at the beginning? Let's see, this card right here. Okay, now this is my card here that I made here. I'm going to get rid of this script on here so we can work together. Let's see. Okay. So here's my card that I made up, and I wanted to use this Easter Bunny stamp set because right now the punch is not going to be available until May, but I thought it would be too sad not to make Easter cards with the Easter Bunny stamp set because that is still available right now. You can order it separately from the bundle, and then when the punch comes in May, you can always order the punch. And I purposefully use this bunny here that is different from the punch bunny. There are 3 bunnies in that stamp set, and I actually don't have my stamp set here because it's back in Boston and I'm up here in Kelowna. But it has 3 different bunnies on it. So I just want to explain briefly how I made this card. Normally I would demonstrate it. I hate not being able to demonstrate a card, but I'm going to explain it to you. And I also have the measurements over on my blog, and if you click below in the description of this video, you will be able to pop over to my blog and find out all the information you need about almost everything. You'll probably get your questions answered. So my card, it is actually a tent fold card. So this piece of So Saffron cardstock started off as a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock, and then I scored it in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark, and then I folded it. Then I took a piece of the Subtles Designer Series paper. I love the patterns on this paper, and you can make this card with a background of any color you want it. I just cut the piece to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I glued it right to the card front. And then I took a piece of basic white and I cut that to 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And the first thing I did was, you see this grass down here? The grass is actually a stamp that is a small stamp, and you might, if you want to see how I did this, I have done this on one of the boxes I did earlier a few weeks ago. And I just stamped the grass along a row down on the bottom of the basic white. I left enough room for this ribbon right here. This is the Old Olive ribbon. It comes also with a roll of Sahara sand, and I used the Old Olive out of there. If you're wondering, hey, Brenda, all these ingredients for your card, where can I get them? Look down below in the description of this video. I have a list of everything that I used, and it's also over on my blog. So I just left a little space for this Old Olive twill, and that I stamped in Old Olive this grass going all the way across there. Right now, we do not have a black ink pad in stock. So I wanted to show you how you could do this card without black ink. You might, if you look closely, I don't think you can even tell, but I stamped the bunny, the eggs, the happy Easter, and the butterfly all in Night of Navy ink. So you can definitely do it in a dark ink color as well. So that was the next thing I stamped. I did all my stamping first, and then I did my coloring. So I stamped the grass in Old Olive, and then I stamped the bunny next, and then the Easter and Easter eggs, and then I stamped Happy Easter. Now I took the Happy Easter apart. The Happy Easter is actually in one long line. Well, I took some scissors and I cut in between them because I wanted to stack my Happy Easter. And so you can definitely do that. It's really easy with photopolymer. You can still use them together in one line afterwards. You just piece them together on a stamp. So don't be afraid to do that, because it really makes your stamps a lot more versatile. If there's enough space to cut something apart, I will do it if I need to. And I think it looks really nice like that. And then I stamped the little butterfly. And then I came down to the bottom and I colored the grass with Old Olive blends. And I colored the bunny with Fresh Freesia. If you want to see how I've colored a bunny like this, go back to one of my previous videos. I think it was the Hershey's Kisses bunnies. I colored somewhat like this, and it kind of shows you how I leave like a spot. You can see, there we go, the little white spots. That's kind of where the light comes down. You can probably see that today on my face. You can see there's light spots where the light is hitting. That's kind of the same idea when you're coloring. I just kind of leave a spot, I circle it, and then I kind of work around. With my Fresh Freesia. I used both the light and the dark on the bunny, and I left some white spots, including the chest and the tail, and a little bit on the ear, just to give it, some contrast and shading. And then I colored the eggs. They are colored in So Saffron, Balmy Blue, and Fresh Freesia. And I also colored the little bunny up here in So Saffron and Fresh Freesia. So once I was done coloring, that's when I glued this twill on. I left space for the twill first, but then afterwards I glued it on, because I never like to waste stuff. So there's sometimes accidents that happen with coloring and things don't turn out quite right. So why glue anything down onto your card until you're done your coloring? Also, it would be really hard to color the grass with the ribbon right there. So I colored the grass first, and then I took some tear and tape. I put a line of it right along the bottom of the basic white, and then I adhered a length. I probably took like a little bit longer piece than I actually needed. I like to overhang, and then I turn it over to the back side, and then I trim off the overhang. The Old Olive will come off the edge of the card, and I just trim it up. So that was a little line. And then I took some linen thread and tied it around. And you might remember, let me go back to the original card. See that linen thread going around? That's what I was emulating. There's a piece of Old Olive Designer Series paper. Well, I just used ribbon instead. And then I did the linen thread around here. So that kind of came from the original card. And then after that, I just scattered some iridescent rhinestone jewels. These, I think, are my favorite embellishment because they go with everything. And what I personally, embellishments, I just want them to enhance my card. I don't want them to be the focal point of the card. So I love how these blend in. They give some light to the Happy Easter. I usually put them around my greeting. I usually use 3. I try to use 3 different sizes too. It's kind of just what I do. It's a pattern that I like, that I emulate a lot. And then just a little sparkle, and that's all there is to this card. This is such a fun stamp set for Easter. I have a feeling it's carrying over into the annual catalog. I'm not 100% sure if the stamp set and the punch will be there, but the punch is coming back in stock in May, and our catalog ends in April. So that really makes me feel like the punch is going to be in there. I really hope they carry over the stamp set as well. But I think it's kind of sad if you don't get a chance to use the Easter stamp set this year, as it's so cute. The bunnies are also really easy to fussy cut. You know what fussy cut is? You just cut them out. A lot of people have been doing that. If they don't have their bunny punch yet, you can also cut those little bunnies out. They're pretty easy to do. It's just so cute. I love this stamp set. So don't forget, you can get the stamp set now, maybe not the punch, but the punch is coming back in stock. All right. Well, I'm sorry that I couldn't demonstrate the card in the normal way, but I hope you got at least something out as I explained my card. You know, sometimes in life we are given challenges, right? And right now, uh, well, I wouldn't call my mom a challenge, but the situation to continue to demonstrate cards, that is a challenge. The main challenge for me, I'll just explain a little bit how the reason this is more difficult. If I had a car and I could drive to my mom's, then it would have been a little different because I could have probably just loaded a bunch of stuff like my current bundles, some ink pads. I could have loaded my stamping cut and emboss machine and my trimmer and all of that stuff. I could have loaded it up into my car and driven here. If I could have done that, then I would have had my supplies with me. But my mom lives closer to the West Coast and I live closer to the East Coast. There is no way I would have driven here. It's just too far. Plus, there's a border, so it just makes it more difficult. There was just no, I thought about it. I thought about like bringing some supplies up, but it's just, it would have just been so hard to like really do the level that I needed to do. So I just opted not to. And that's why I'm not going to be doing currently my Friday 3Ds that I usually do or fanciful cards. It just takes too much time, would have taken me too much time to design in advance. I had like one day in between our trips. So we were up in or down, I don't know, up, down, sideways. I don't even know where I was anymore. But we were in the San Francisco area visiting our son last weekend, and not this weekend just that passed, but the previous one. And we had a fabulous time. We were in the Monterey Big Sur area, and we did some really nice hikes. We saw some redwoods. We saw marine life. It was just really a great getaway and a little break for our son. It was a long weekend, and so our son is working for Tesla. He is an intern, or what in Canada his university calls it a co-op program, and he is on a 4-month work term. He does 6 of these over the course of his engineering degree, and so he goes for 5 years. And he was so excited to get this job at Tesla. He applied for it outside of his co-op program, and he's working on the batteries, like the battery rechargers and everything. And he loves working in a team. He loves working in person because he's been working remotely for a very long time, and he's just in his element. So I'm so happy and so proud of him, and it was really nice to see him and having a super great work term, because his last work term prior was a little crazy, but this one is going super well. So that was our trip. We arrived back. Our flight back from San Francisco to Boston was delayed because the plane coming in was delayed during weather. So we didn't get back home on Tuesday until midnight. Finally got to bed. Had Wednesday to reset. I stocked the fridge for my husband, and I did the laundry, and made some cards, repacked my suitcase, and then I had to get up. What time? I think I got up at 3 a.m. on Thursday to catch my 6 a.m. flight. And then you probably read that things were kind of crazy coming out here, and just the whole flight, because there was lots of winter weather. But I made it. I made all my flights. My luggage did not make it. This is the second time that has happened. But thankfully, this time everything was really tagged well. And I'm super prepared now. My luggage has an air tag in it, so I knew where it was. I could tell which airport it was at. And by the next morning, it was delivered to my mom's condo. And so I only had one night without my luggage. And I carry a toothbrush, extra pair of underwear in my backpack with me. So I'm a little bit prepared, like, for luggage not being there right away. And you know what? I am okay with a luggage delay, because there's things that are more important than luggage, and that is people. And my mom was the most important thing, and that is truly why I am here. So let's talk a little bit about my mom. So my mom will be turning 82 this year, and she's been dealing with cancer for, I'd say, about 10 years. She's has multiple myeloma, and and then she had another issue, as it was a throat neuralgia that was causing her extreme amount of pain. And it just really weakened her body and mind. And so she ended up in the hospital due to dehydration. And when she came out, we thought she was okay because her throat pain was finally under control. But then she fell. And since she fell, she's been very unsteady on her feet. So basically someone needs to be here full time. And my sister did that for several days. And now I decided that I would come out and help her. Today, this morning, she's like she's had nausea ever since I got here. So since Thursday, you can just imagine. Nausea is not a fun thing to deal with. She hasn't had any appetite, and I asked her about her appetite this morning. She said she's feeling a little better. So I don't know. It's all up and down, but at least I'm here. I'm going to take good care of her, and I'm still here as a demonstrator too. I have downtime. It's kind of fragmented. So if you've noticed, if you've sent me an email and I haven't gotten back to you, I'm working my way through my email. I received a lot of emails, and so I'm working my way through, and I apologize for that. It's just I can only do like a bit at a time, and I still have to keep everything else afloat too. So just know that I haven't forgotten about you. Now, if like a week from now I still haven't gotten back to you about a question or anything like that, please email me again, especially if it's a question about something. I don't want questions to go unanswered. If you need to place an order, please email me again, and because I don't want you to miss out on any specials or anything like that. I am here for all of you. I just am fitting you into my extra time that I have here. So I just want to let you know that I am continuing my business. It's just going to be in the next little while, it's just going to be a little different, and then I'll be back. I don't know when quite yet, but when I'll be back, I'll be picking up where I left off. And if you've earned rewards from me, I'm good for them. I apologize that they're going to be a little late, but they will get to you. And the things that like the gems that I'm sending you, if you ordered in February, they are timeless. You know, they don't necessarily need to be used like in March, for instance. So, you know, don't worry. They will look great on your cards and projects even down the road. All right, I've done a lot of talking. So why don't I go and look at your comments? And if you have any questions for me, just please put them in the comments and I will try and get to them. Thank you for coming this morning. I really appreciate that. I know this is kind of a weird live where I demo but don't demo. So I already said hello to Lori and thank you for your good wishes for my mom. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Amy, and thank you for the good wishes for my mom too. Good morning, Ellie. And you have snow today in Connecticut. You know what? I think Boston's getting snow too. I talked to my husband last night and he was kind of oblivious. I said, I think you're getting snow tomorrow. And he was like, oh, okay. So he works from home right now, so the snow doesn't affect him quite as much as it would otherwise. And I think I stocked him up for a good week, so he's got stuff in the fridge to eat, and so I know he can take care of himself, but sometimes as a wife, I like to take care of him a bit too, because I knew I was blasting off, and he's so good. He said, don't worry, Brenda, just go be with your mom. Don't worry about me. I can grocery shop, but I just wanted to do something nice for him before I left, so I did that. Good morning, Marty. Good morning, Deborah. Hello, Mary. Ellie says, so happy to see you. Hoping your mom is feeling better. She is doing a little better today, so I'll take it. If she has a nausea-free day and I can feed her some good food, and maybe that will make her continue to feel better. So maybe I'll even cook something today. She has not had any appetite for anything. I did bake something, but it didn't trigger, any more eating. So I'm kind of holding off until I feel like she tells me, this is what she wants. I'll totally cook whatever. Good morning, Nalita. Marty said, that's great that Nick's enjoying his work term. Yeah, it is really great. Some of you know, I don't know if I probably didn't talk about his work term last term, but he had a really difficult prior work term, and I won't talk about the problems that he had, but the cool thing about having a difficult work term is he learned a lot from that work term. Probably not what you're supposed to learn as a computer engineer, but he learned a lot about ethics. He learned a lot about handling difficult situations, and that's priceless because you have these work terms for 4 months, and then you do a school term, and then you do another work term, and you don't have to go back to the same place. So you really get this smorgasbord or buffet, if you will, of job experiences. And as he put it, where else could you have these 4-month stints on your resume and not have it be a bad thing? But as a co-op student, you can have a 4-month job because that's the way it works, and it's a good thing. So he can have a 4-month job. It might not be so great, and then he can move on to the next one. So that's kind of cool. Nalita said, Nalita said, okay, so Nalita is interesting too. She lives in Puerto Rico and she has family in Florida. So in response to what she does, she says she ships some materials ahead of time. So like some stamping supplies ahead of time when she leaves for Florida. She also leaves some tools at her daughter's house. That's a great idea. So if I have to buy something, it would be simple things. That's a really great idea. And I probably maybe would do that if I was up here more often. But there is one more problem, is that I'm a demonstrator in the US and I can only buy and ship to a US address. So it makes it really difficult. So if I wanted to buy products in Canada, I would need to find a demonstrator here to buy from. So I wouldn't be buying from myself. So it makes it a little tricky with running the business, because it's not an open border, Stampin' Up! Wise, between US and Canada. I have, Canada friends and family, and they've never ever been able to buy from me, and that's fine, because I know there's different restrictions for buying. So I love your idea, Nalita, because that's a good thing for people who are traveling, or for instance, if I was up at my mother-in-law, she's started to do a little stamping and card making. Maybe not stamping, but card making. She now has a die cutting machine. She has a scoring board. So if I were there, I could probably do a little bit more than here. But I can also drive there. So I could have actually driven my stuff across the border, whereas my mom, it's a little too far, a little too tricky. And if my mom's health were a little better, I could think about doing some other things. But right now, it is what it is. But thank you for the suggestion. I love that. Mary's sending me big hugs. Thank you. And Alita said, take my time with my mom. Enjoy every moment. God has everything in control. Thank you, Nalita. Oh, good morning, Bev. Aw, thank you for your hugs. I'm so glad to see you on here. I miss you. And Janine said, peace and love to you and yours, Brenda. Thank you so much. Well, on one last note, I hate to, business is business, because I just want to make sure no one misses out. Make sure, if you want to get the starter kit, check out my join page. There's the link to sign up on there. There's answers to your questions, and there's also a link to email me if you have a question. If you want to order and still take advantage of the Sale-a-Bration special, also use my host code so you can get my host code gift of the month. I am going to be live for sure for the next 2 Tuesdays after this, and after that I'm going to have to figure out. I'm not sure if I'm going to be back home by then. Who knows? I don't know. I'm going to take it a day at a time right now, and I have not booked a flight back yet, but I will let you know as soon as I know something. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.